up to 10-year maximum penalty. So that is a very serious criminal allegation that now could face Hank. Johnny is out of money, Ramsey is out of money, and relies on Hank pretty much solely for funding and for housing and everything else. He's even gone so far as to, it appears, provide funds for his legal defense. For the most part, most of the crimes fall squarely on Johnny, not on Hank. Hank might have been there, he might have been helping with logistics.
Hank Yu is finally on the verge of facing real consequences. Yes, you heard that right. Hank Yu is now going to face the fallout for what he did with Johnny Somali. There's even a chance that both of them could end up in jail.
Up to 10-year maximum penalty. So that is a very serious criminal allegation that now could face Hank.
Hank Yu and Johnny Somali might actually be looking at prison time. What if the next headline you read says Hank Yu is now on trial? Not only for Johnny Somali's actions, but for his own. Shocking, right? Well, Hank Yu's alleged crimes are now being discussed. He may soon be investigated by South Korean legal authorities. So guys, in today's video, I'll explain how Hank Yu is now under investigation and why he could be heading to prison soon. And guys, I will tell you later a shocking revelation about how Hank Yu tried to influence the Vitaly Zadorovetsky matter by humiliating the Philippines.
Philippines is kind of a joke. Like don't fuck around there, yeah, sure, but that entire country's...
So that's why South Korean authorities are now seeing that Hank Yu has shown helping intentions for a criminal and also disrespect for another country. Considering everything Hank Yu has done before, this is why he is actually on the verge of going to jail. Let's keep watching. As you know, Johnny Somali is currently not only facing 8 criminal charges, yes, that's right, he's also under a separate investigation. Some of these charges have even been reopened, and according to legal experts, there's a chance separate trials could take place where Johnny Somali faces yet another round in court.
A separate trial for Ramsey's CWA if the prosecutors decide to indict him. It's going to be a separate trial.
In this case, it's not just Johnny Somali who could face consequences. Hank Yu may also be held accountable because of his involvement in the situation. According to legal analysts, it's clear that Johnny Somali was influenced and even assisted by Hank Yu in these alleged crimes, which could also be considered criminal behavior on Hank Yu's part.
Hank Yu, Han Jung Yu, he has pretty much enabled Johnny Somali to not only continue living a relatively comfortable, if sparse lifestyle, but also enabled him to continue streaming when he wants to by providing him things like a phone, a streaming setup, an apartment to live in, giving him a stipend, buying soju for him, pretty much being his sole source of revenue. Johnny is out of money, Ramsey is out of money, and relies on Hank pretty much solely for funding and for housing and everything else. He's even gone so far as to, it appears, provide funds for his legal defense.
As you heard from Legal Mindset, Hank Yu is actually the main influencer of Johnny Somali in all his crimes. So now, if the police actually take Hank Yu on new charges after the investigation, then Hank Yu will not only cover Johnny Somali's expenses, but maybe also face his own legal fees, which could ruin Hank Yu. Now listen more from Legal Mindset about the condition of the investigation and the minimum charges or consequences that can happen there.
One thing that is now under investigation is the conversations that Johnny and Hank were having with minors over the last couple months. They can be investigated for and they can be pushed for. And mind you, carries a up to 10-year maximum penalty. So that is a very serious criminal allegation that now could face Hank.
So as you've heard, Hank Yu is now under investigation by the police. Before this, he had said that when Johnny Somali went to jail, he would flee South Korea for China.
Well, if Johnny Somali goes to prison, right, it's not going to be like years and years upon years. It's going to be like a few months. I'll be like, all right, that part of my part is done. I'm moving to China.
But if this actually happens now, Hank Yu won't be able to flee. He'll be stuck behind bars in a South Korean prison with Johnny Somali. Not only that, remember, Hank Yu even pressured Johnny Somali's lawyer along with his family.
He was pressured by Hank's family to be a part of this case.
Why? Because Hank Yu knew that if he didn't get a lawyer for Johnny Somali, then Johnny Somali might plead guilty, and Hank Yu's name would also come up. That's why Hank Yu may have tried to pressure Johnny Somali's lawyer. And don't forget how Hank Yu mocked South Korean authorities, saying what the South Korean police and courts were doing was illegal.
So it's like unfair, malicious prosecution, you know, because the two people...
Just imagine, if the court also finds that Hank Yu disrespected the court and South Korean authorities, they won't show any mercy to him. They will give Hank Yu the harshest punishment possible. Guys, what do you actually think about that? Let me know. Now let's talk about another big point. Hank Yu is actually in big trouble right now. That's true, but you'll be shocked to hear that Hank Yu could still escape the consequences and put all the blame on Johnny Somali. Shocking and unbelievable, right? But it's actually true. Yes, that can happen. Because even though Hank Yu was involved with Johnny Somali, if the evidence ends up pointing more toward Johnny Somali than Hank Yu, then Hank Yu might be freed by fully blaming Johnny Somali. Here you can hear more from Legal Mindset.
And up until this point, when people have asked me about Hank and what Hank could be facing, yes, there's some things it's possible Hank could be hooked in on. But for the most part, most of the crimes fall squarely on Johnny, not on Hank. Hank might have been there, he might have been helping with logistics, but it's really hard to prove some crimes were committed by Hank, or Hank would have some sort of accomplice liability for certain crimes, especially the ones that were from before Hank got deeply involved with Johnny Somali.
So I think you already understand. Hank Yu played the biggest mind game. He knows South Korean law. Johnny Somali didn't know this from the start. Hank Yu pushed Johnny Somali into that kind of criminal activity, even though Hank Yu was also involved, because he knew the police would not find him and all the blame would fall on Johnny Somali's name. That tactic actually worked for Hank Yu until the day a lot of evidence surfaced against him, showing him at the crime scenes with Johnny Somali. Yet Johnny Somali faced the charges, while Hank Yu did not. Or is that partiality from the South Korean authorities toward Hank Yu? Who knows? So here's another part. Hank Yu may not only be investigated for his crimes, because when authorities saw he had a criminal mindset behind all of this, it also pushed the legal authorities to take action against him. For example, in this video, Hank Yu was asked about Vitaly Zdorowetsky's condition in the Philippines, but when asked about it, he literally humiliated the Philippine authorities, mocking what they did and disrespecting their culture, as if the Philippines were just a joke. Here you can hear from Hank Yu himself.
Philippines is kind of a joke, honestly. Like, don't fuck around there, yeah, sure, but that entire country is kind of a joke. I'm sorry, I have no respect for Philippines.
Okay.
Like, almost none, but like, you know, that country is like a joke, man. Like, that country is... Bro, Philippines tries to go against China and contest South China Sea, not remembering during the Korean War when PLA was under-equipped and they were fully equipped with American equipment, they got their asses beat by the PLA completely. Like, and
You mean the Filipino soldiers fighting in the Korean War?
yeah,
I
they
see.
still lie.
Did you see what Hank Yu said about the Philippines? Do you think that's some kind of joke? If any Filipinos are watching this video, tell the truth. What Hank Yu said about Filipinos was actually a lie. And if you think South Korean authorities won't consider this in their investigation, you're totally wrong. First of all, he's creating sympathy for another criminal streamer while mocking another country, something that could harm South Korean authorities and the government's reputation. And if a man like this isn't investigated, then the law looks like a joke. All of this shows one thing. Hank Yu has actually done a lot of crimes in his life and could now be facing serious jail time. So after watching the full video, what do you actually think about all of this? Let me know. As of now, Hank Yu is under investigation by the police. If he goes to jail, do you think he could face 10 years behind bars, as Legal Mindset mentioned before?
There's a 10 up to 10 year maximum penalty. So that is a very serious criminal allegation that now could face Hank.
Or could Hank Yu try to blame all of this on Johnny Somali, making him take all the consequences while Hank Yu hides out in China? What do you think should happen to Hank Yu? Let me know your thoughts.